that are controlled by Naama, but that's okay. At least he was keeping up on his macro through all this. We see 5 siege tanks are now out with a Raven. That Banshee has returned home with 0 kills. She is not a war hero, unlike some of the others that had more. The Phoenix is now just going to be roaming around here. It's very nice to see the Phoenix, actually, because it's not only good against the Banshees, guys. The Phoenix can also come in here and lift up a siege tank, temporarily disabling it and possibly sniping it out. Probably going to pick up a mule here. Ooh, just as it gets called down, one SCV gets owned. The missile turret is doing significant damage, and the Phoenix escapes with 12 HP, 112 energy. The other one has 29. And it looks like the siege tanks are going to be pushing forward here. It looks like he's going to be taking out the destructible rocks. At the same time, we have a forge going up for DuckloadRa, going to get those upgrades most likely. We can see that no upgrades have been started for mouzNaama. Instead, he's going to be sneaking an expansion down here at the gold, which I do like. Probably something that DuckloadRa will not see until he sends those Phoenix on that scout route that I would love to see him do. Just basically queue them up all around the map and check for any hidden expansions. We see a sensor tower and missile turret going down. Going to be great to basically repel any cloak units, as well as these Phoenixes, which actually one gets taken out and the other is forced to back out. We see that the next set of destructible rocks are being taken out, so this is a very nice slow push. It's so powerful, actually, because as you can see here, it's a very, very narrow choke point. If he forces the units of DuckloadRa to clump up here, he can do massive amounts of damage with his siege tanks. However, keep in mind that DuckloadRa does have the perfect unit composition against this. He's got tons of zealots, only a couple stalkers, and 3 immortals, which do very well versus the siege tanks. It's basically going to be a question of whether it's 7 siege tanks is enough to deal with basically this number of zealots and immortals. I don't know the answer yet, but I'm sure we'll see soon as this push comes. Looks like 4 Vikings are going to be out. Maybe he expected some Colossi. That there was only 2 Phoenix that were ever produced, so possibly a little bit of a waste there. I'd like to see him maybe land those in the battle just to soak up some damage. Going to be pushing forward, doing some harassment versus this pylon. I do like the tank spread here. We can see that if he needs to, he can fall back to another siege line down here should the battle get too hot up at the front. It looks like he's going to be clearing these destructible debris, possibly create an escape route. At the same time, we see a stim go down. Ooh, a bunch of energy wasted on the medevacs for not much damage being dealt. Actually, damage being dealt against him. We see he's actually almost supply block. Have to throw down a depot there. We see a planetary fortress warping here, and he has spotted it with his zealot. Meanwhile, the push is coming ever so slowly, very patient. This is exactly the kind of play that was so impressive to see at the DreamHack Open, and tons of damage is being dealt against the Immortals. They were soaking up a bit, but this one almost goes down, and now we have bunkers being placed down. Oh, this is so hard to stop. It is going to be an extremely slow push, but so powerful. And now a storm goes down, kind of misses, and it looks like he's going to be engaging. Ooh, this could be so bad. There are so many tanks here in the back. He has so much ground to fall back on, and it looks like DuckloadRa's army is whittling down, but it's actually a pretty close battle. We see that all of the tech units have been left here, and it looks like, oh, it's going to be pretty close, but I think Naama's going to come out on top. Indeed, he does. 2 stalkers are all that's left. The Vikings were forced to land. Good to see that. 1 tank, 1 Raven. Looks like some more reinforcements are coming back to even the odds. Going to take out the missile turrets here. The sensor tower is really where it's at. Ooh, a beautiful storm goes down on the units there. Storms are very effective versus Vikings and infantry, so it's great to see him using that. An Immortal is now out, and we can see here that Naama is actually getting another factory, so he's going to really be pumping out those tanks. We see an upgrade is now done for his infantry. Infantry weapons level 1 is complete. We don't see an upgrade yet on the units of DuckloadRa, but it is almost complete there. Actually, it's just sort of starting. Sorry. Looks like he did forget about the forge. A warp prism is actually coming out, so maybe he's going to do some dropping action. The sensor tower goes down. That means that Naama is no longer going to have the same amount of awareness of where DuckloadRa is. He now has to be more on guard. At the same time, he's doing a nice drop here. Tons of harassment. and a nice storm is going to take out one Viking. Another goes down, a third goes down. All the Vikings have been taken out. The infantry are forced to load up and back out. Meanwhile, another engagement over here catches the tanks unsieged. They do tons of DPS like that as well, and it looks like this is going to be a battle that goes in Naama's favor. An Archon gets morphed in, but it gets quickly sniped by all these armor-piercing units like Marauders and tanks. Meanwhile, the drop is now coming in again, and it looks like we did have a storm over that, which took out a medevac. Meanwhile, at the front, more engagements are coming. There's tons of action right now. Kind of hard to keep up. One High Templar is floating to his death. We see that all of the Stalkers have been taken out, save one who's now going to get blasted away. Some Zealots come in, they charge in, and they are going to probably take out this tank. It would be so huge. Yes, they do get the tank, but the other does go down. Meanwhile, we see that this drop is going unchecked. I'm expecting to see a Terran victory here. He's so far ahead at this point. 112 to the measly 66 supply. He's doubling the Protest player DuckloadRa right now, and more harassment is going on at the third expo. Meanwhile, this one has been forced to evacuate due to two annoying stalkers. We see the main has been cleared out of probes. If we do look at the income tab, we can see that there is a huge economic lead right now by mouzNaama, who has 56 probes to 56 SCVs to 36 probes. We see that this pylon is going to be taken out. I know what you guys are thinking right now. Pylon by the Zelnaga Tower. Husky Starcraft, I won't indulge your lame request for that joke, sorry. And it does look like all of the SCVs have been pulled for one final attack here. This might be a bit of overkill. We can see on the army tab, he's so far ahead, he probably doesn't need those SCVs. Going to be loading a dropship up, probably to do some harassment from the back while he pushes in from the front. This map can be somewhat Terran favored just due to this. Once these rocks are down, the immobile army of Terran does have an advantage. Their mobility no longer matters, and it looks like he's going to be pushing across here. Oh, not quite yet. Just going to wait for those extra units, I suppose, before he finally pushes out. It looks like he's going to be rallying his barracks to the choke here, as well as the tanks. So it's probably going to be a GG here any second, guys. We see one storm goes down, another storm goes down, doing significant damage, but the tanks sieged in the back will clean this up pretty easily. The Immortal is getting taken out fast. Zealots go down. Two more are being warped in, but they quickly fall and are sent to their deaths. The bunker is going to be left incomplete. Looks like he's going to do some harassment here. We see that he has unloaded that dropship in the main, and looks like a Void Ray's out, catches the tanks kind of undefendable. Once the Marines come back, that should be no problemo. And we do see a GG from DuckloadRa here at the end of this best of 3, so it looks like it is going to be a 2-1 victory for mouzNaama in this final game here on Scrap Station. I really think this came down to that push right here, obviously. Doesn't take a genius to see that. We did see the tanks siege up, and I feel like too much damage was dealt for this to actually be a recovery situation. It was really because of the drop in the main. The drop in the main cleared out so many probes while the battle was going on that there was really no way for DuckloadRa to recuperate. And the battle was won by mouzNaama. So once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you liked this video. If you do like my commentaries, I suggest you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and see me next time for my next video. Thanks a lot, guys, and peace out.